Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday night webinar. I am so excited to be here with you this evening. This is a very, very special day. Normally, you see Peter or maybe myself on a webinar on Tuesday nights, but man, tonight, boy, do we have something special for you. Two very, very special people on tonight in my life. And guys, y'all will get to know them here pretty soon. We've got Barry and we have got Bob. So super glad. Well, we're going to wait a few minutes to get started here, but as everybody's popping on, go ahead and put in the chat where you are from. We are still working on our contest right now with a map, and we're literally putting a pin every time we figure out where someone's from. I'm going to hang it in the office, which, by the way, I'm in the office tonight. We're going to hang it in the office and see if we can get all of the United States. All right, so we've got Gabriel from Miami, Florida, JD from Northern Virginia, Andre from North Carolina, James from Portland, Oregon, Cynthia from Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Barry, is it TJ near Portland?
Yes.
By the way, we just closed a deal today with a partner of ours named TJ. We're splitting over $55,000 on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon. So just throwing that out there. Oh, and I don't know if y'all noticed he had a brand new baby 2 days ago.
That'll help those expenses.
Yes, no doubt.
Exactly. It's like closing at the perfect time. He's like a first-time father, and it was adorable.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah. Cynthia from Jacksonville, Florida. Kimberly from Jacksonville, Florida. Love Jax. I used to have an office there off of 95. By the way, I used to do a lot of business in Jacksonville. It's a great area. Funny thing about Jacksonville is it's in Duval County. For you history. Duval, the largest landmass county in America. And when I mean, it is huge. Wow. So it's like almost the top of the state in that corner up there. Abrian from Buford, Georgia. Donna from Indianapolis, Indiana. Juan, Dallas, Texas. Right. Frank, Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Beverly, Houston. Gloria from New York. Mission, Texas. Oklahoma. Long Beach, California. Alpharetta, Georgia. Chicago. Man, we do lots of deals in Chicago. It's Eugene. He knows already because we've done deals with you, Eugene. Good to see you. Rob from Martindale, Texas. Christine from Buford, Georgia. Dallas, Texas. Detroit, Michigan. No matter where you are, we are so excited to have you. I reside in a small town called Dahlonega, Georgia. Nobody ever knows how to spell it, but where I'm from, actually, it was the first gold rush in America happened in Dahlonega, Georgia. So if you ever go to Atlanta and look at the dome covered in gold, it actually came from Dahlonega. I have a little gold dredge at my house for fun. You don't make money doing it. It's just more about fun and games. But Barry, where are you from, man?
Wow. Well, actually, I was born and raised in Tennessee. Joined the military and spent the last 20 plus years in Atlanta. Now I'm out here on the lovely West Coast, California.
Yeah. Awesome. In Sacramento, right?
Yes, ma'am. In Sacramento. You know, that's how I met you out here. You know,
I do.
I'll tell the story.
How long has that been?
It's been over a year and 5 months, 3 months. Yeah. That's how long I've been around. Yeah.
Wow. I never would have thought that day we went to dinner together, we'd be sitting here now.
I didn't either, but hey, I'm glad. Yeah. I'm so happy.
Me too. All right, Bob.
Yes, I am from beautiful Broadway, North Carolina. Just coming back to the U.S. and I was in the military for a while and did a lot of coaching, did a lot of other stuff. But back in Broadway area, Sanford, we're centrally located between the Research Triangle, Raleigh, Durham area, and Fayetteville. So it's a perfect area. A lot of growth, a lot of real estate, a lot of stuff moving on.
That's awesome, man. You know what's crazy is like I'm meeting people, you know, like I meet people all the time because I'm a bit of a people person, a little bit.
I
A
never
little bit.
guessed. What? No.
Yeah. So everywhere I go, I like, I always tell people about where I'm from and what I do. Because I mean, you never know. I get deals all the time just from talking to folks like that, right? And
Yeah.
everybody's like, well, I bet you hate it to be in real estate right now because you're probably not making any money. And I've almost like don't even know how to answer, that because honestly, real estate right now is moving more so than I've seen in years. So, I mean, it is an opportune time, unfortunately, due to, circumstances. We purchase properties, wholesale them, flip them, do lots of other things. And it's just an opportunity for us to help people out, right?
Yep, yep, exactly. It's moving. I don't care what they say, it's booming. It's really booming. So
I've heard from about 3 or 4 people, and I think Barry, you may have said this too, is just the idea that real estate is probably going to be what pulls the economy back up. Because if anything, I mean, it's really really crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
We had
Oh.
2 closings just today with partners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
TJ, he's out of Oregon, and then also Joseph Riddick, he's out of Southern Virginia, right there on the line, right there.
Right. Yeah. And we got some more closing this week too, don't we?
Yeah, we got 2 or 3, hopefully by the end of the week.
Yeah. So yeah, it don't stop, guys. It does not stop.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Now, before we get started, guys, and thank you all for being on. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with us. It means a lot to us, and we and we're glad that you're here. But let's go ahead and get a little bit out of the way before we get started into tonight. So the reason why we are here, I like to be upfront and honest, is because we partner with people just like you across America, okay? We partner with people just like you to help them reach their real estate goals. So one of the ways we do that is by training, okay? So we provide daily training. Actually, Monday through Friday, we do live daily training calls. These are not pre-recorded. These are live calls with either myself, Bob, Barry, Peter, and even people in our office, right? We want you to know everybody because this is more of a team environment. You also can schedule calls with us 3 right here, one-on-one, anytime you would like for any one-on-one training. Because, when you're getting started in this business, just having someone help you kind of move along and understand the business is really, it's very, very helpful. Also, we have a university where we have hours of pre-recorded training. And get this, here's the big one. Most people lead with this, but once you find a deal, and we'll show you how to find a deal, we will actually fund the deal with our money, and we will split profits with you 50-50, just like we did with TJ today, just like we did with Joseph Riddick today. That's what we do. For years and years, Peter and I ran our own investment company, and we decided that we kind of mix a coaching company and our investment company. And instead of doing all the deals on our own, we decided to partner with individuals just like you across America. And guys, we need more partners. We need more partners like you that are really ready to get out there and change their lives and work with an awesome team that we have here. I've done a little over 1,600 deals. Peter's done a little over 3,000. And together, guys, you've got all of these years of training, all of these years of what we've done included, is our office staff. Our office staff that works with Partner Driven. We didn't just, hire these people when we started Partner Driven. They've been working with Peter and I for years. They did all of our deals, right? So what we want to do is help you from beginning to the end of the deal. So if you would like to learn more, guys, if you'd like to learn more about becoming one of our partners, all you got to do is go visit www.partnerdriven.com/apply, and you can simply apply to become one of our partners, right? Or if you would like to kind of schedule a call, you could go to callpartnerdriven.com. We want to hear from you, and our beautiful team will be there to help answer any questions that you may have. Actually, almost everybody in our staff, on our team, works on deals. Okay. Yeah. We don't shy away from that. We want everybody that works with us doing deals, because it only helps people that we work with, right? Right. So now that we've got that out of the way, again, we're gonna talk a little bit tonight. What I wanted to do is, you see Peter, maybe you see myself, but I think it's like super important that you meet the Master Coach team. Let me tell you a little bit about this team that I put together, and then I'm gonna let them, obviously talk tonight. I'm not gonna do all the talking, I promise. But I do want to say this, anybody that we bring on to Partner Driven, especially as a coach, I directly handpick these people. Okay. I don't hire anybody off of the street. They've had to have been a partner of ours before, and out of thousands of people that I've worked with in the past, and as far as coaching them, helping them do deals, I've hired Bob and Barry. So let me tell you, that says a lot, about these two individuals. They make my life easier, and they really, really care about other individuals' success. And they're doing deals, and they understand the process. But sometimes it's not just about doing deals. It's about motivation, right? It's about having someone to lean on, to talk to. That's why we are here. Because sometimes your motivation doesn't come from the people you think it should. Sometimes the people you love the most in your life aren't the people that give you the motivation that you need, because they don't maybe understand where you're coming from, or maybe they don't believe in what you're doing, right? So maybe you have to have, a different source for that. I know it was the same, that was that way for me, right? So without any further ado, what I would like to do is, I would like these guys to tell a little bit about themselves. I'm going to ask you guys some questions and things. If you don't mind, actually, I'll have Barry go first.
Well,
is that cool,
thank
Barry?
you. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So thank you for that introduction. And, one thing I always do on calls, I started doing this, and Bob knows this. If everybody on this call is excited about being on this call, I want you to throw a 100 in the chat so we know that you're actually there listening to it. You're excited about the call. Put a 100 in the chat for me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's the way I get people motivated, so I know what's going on. So a little bit about me. Like Julie said, my name is Barry. I am one of the master coaches here at Partner Driven. And I am married. I've been married for, she had to correct me the other day. I said 18 years. She said no. She said 19. I said, oh, okay. All right. All right, 19 years. So me and my wife have been 19 years strong in the marriage. And we're actually in California. But to back up a little bit, my path wasn't always real estate, okay? When I first got out of high school, I went directly into the military, all right? I served, and my job in the military was simply, I was a military police officer. Now, not everybody likes the police, of course, but I got, I was in there as a military police officer. I was a K-9 person. I was an investigator. Heck, I even learned how to speak Arabic when I went across the ocean, across seas. And I got out of the military, and, most people think, well, when you get, you're going to do what you did in the military, you're going to do in the public life. No, I went a different route. I got into telecommunications, okay? And I started from the ground up, learning how to pull cable, terminating jacks, worked my way up to learning how to install phone systems and how to program them. Then worked my way up into the, the latest stuff on how to install routers, voice over IP. And I did that for the longest time, but I always had a desire to be working for myself. Okay. So just like any other entrepreneur, you try a lot of different things. So I tried DirecTV. I'm gonna be an independent contractor. Well, guess what? That didn't work because I fell off the roof twice. I'm not doing that no more. So I went back to telecommunications to build up some more. I tried being an independent courier driver. This is in Atlanta though. So you know how that is, Julie, driving around in Atlanta.
Mhm.
I tried that. That was just too much. So I went back to telecommunications. And then when the bubble busted, remember in 2009, 2010, everybody jumped on this thing about being a wholesaler, being in real estate. Well, I actually jumped into it and I actually liked it. And I began to do like everybody else, you do one program, you do another one. But I finally found a mentor at one of the RIAs, and they walked me through some stuff, and we actually did deals, right? I actually did wholesale deals, and I didn't have all the training that we have today. So some of the stuff I had to learn, got a HUD home under contract, didn't have a buyer, didn't know what to do, and he wasn't helping me. So I had to, fortunately for me, they didn't keep my earnest money, but it made me realize, man, you got to have a buyer's list. So moving forward, I started getting buyers and started doing more deals. And then I found a partner and we started doing deals. That's when I got into fix and flips. I hate fix and flips. That's just my opinion. It's too much can go wrong. Right. So got into some fix and flips and then got into some more wholesale and then a couple of buy and holds. All right. So after a while, it just wasn't working out with me and partner. So we just went our separate ways, went back to telecom. I know how to do that. Started working for myself. And the one thing about being a independent contractor and you have your little business, if you don't grow your business, then you really just own a job. All right. You don't have a business, you own a job, or the job owns you pretty much because you got to go out there and you got to hit the bricks. And if you don't work, you don't eat. All right. So fast forward until 2017 when, my wife said, we're moving out of Georgia. Actually said in 2016, I want to move away. I'm like, okay, whatever. I want to move to California. I'm like, no, you don't. So she kind of played the little mind trick with me. You're the one scared. No, you don't want to go. You're scared. So I fill out an application. I wasn't thinking about getting no job. And guess what? Somebody called me like 2 weeks later. Hey, you want to come out here and work? I'm like, oh, Lord. I guess we're moving to California. But fortunately for me, I didn't take that job. But we both came out here just out on faith. Okay. And neither one of us had a job. She didn't have a job. I had the ability to get work, but I didn't really have a solid contract until I got out here. And then I started getting the real estate bug again. I'm like, I want to get back in real estate. So I'm, hooked up with another company. I got in there, did a couple of more deals, one in North Carolina, some around in the Cali area. And one day, me and my business partner, we were watching some stuff and I saw Peter, one of his infomercials talking about partner driven. I'm like, I know Peter. I know because I knew of Peter back in the day, but I never really met him. So I'm like, man, this seems pretty good. So I gave him a call. We joined up, and about a month after we joined up, guess who came to California? Julie came out here. She was doing some training and we had dinner. And for some reason, we just hit it off. I mean, it was like, boom. So at that point, I was like, man, I really know that this is something I really want to do. And I want to do it with this company because we're so personable. She was so personable. And Peter, when I got to talk to him, he was, Peter can be kind of, direct in his conversation. But if you know Peter, he's really the best person out there. He really cares about every partner that we have. And so, a couple of months went through, we were partners. I started as a partner like you guys are going to be. When you get off this call, you're going to be a partner. And I was talking back and forth with Julie. And in that first live meeting we had that I attended, I saw it. I was like, man, this is growing so big. I really want to be a part of this, but I'll just do my partner thing. And then one day she called me on a Friday. It was a Friday afternoon. I just got off work, whatever, and she's like, "Hey, you wanna you wanna join up and be a partner? I mean, be help me coaching and stuff." I had no qualms about. First, I had to say, "Well, let me think about it," but inside, I was like, "Hell yeah!" Excuse me, but yeah, I was I was like, "Yeah," and so it just one thing led to another, and man, this is where I'm at now, and I'm so happy that I'm here. Uh, I really truly enjoy helping people. Um, me and Bob are on calls. Bob, he started as a partner too, so he can attest to this. But I really care about our partners, and I want to make sure you guys get everything you can get. And I give 100%, just like everybody on the partner-driven team. We really truly care about you guys being successful. And the best thing about this, I know you're going to ask this question, but the best thing about it is that we are accessible. You don't have to wait. You don't have a toll-free number that you have to call and hopefully you'll get somebody. It's not like that. So
No, and
that's it.
we're not reading from a script either.
No.
Um, I mean, it's detailed, for you. And it was, believe it or not, it was actually really hard for me to bring you on, and you too, Bob, because I'm not one to let things go very, very easily, but obviously you can't grow until you expand, right? Because but I knew Barry would 100% care about these individuals like I did. And the same way goes for Bob. So that was my first conversation to you.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was. All right, but yeah, man, this is great. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Barry, for sharing that. All right, Bob. So Bob is recently joined our team. You've been with us for about 3 weeks now, right?
I believe that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
as a master coach.
Yeah.
And just like Barry, and I realize now that I just hired 2 guys from the military, which is kind of funny, but 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 I felt the same exact way about Bob, his love for people, and wanting to help them. But Bob, tell everybody, kind of a little bit about yourself. I know you've got an interesting background.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the amazing introduction. I feel very honored that I get to be on here with souls like Barry and Julie. And I say that with all sincerity. Yeah, well, let me see background. Okay, so I was in the military, just like Barry was. I got out of the military, and I had dabbled in some real estate, but this is like this is back a long time ago, and things were not going so well. But I think that one of the reasons why, and this is one of the things that make Partner Driven unique, is that we're one team, one fight. We're one team, one goal. We're one team, one mission. And I don't know if you've been in the military, you're probably going, "Oh God, I thought I'd never hear that again." We really are. And that mission is you. That mission is the partner success. That mission is getting across the finish line. So at any rate, I went overseas, and I was originally in Korea, doing teaching and training, setting up educational programs, setting up coaching programs for different organizations, working with the U.S. consulate. I came back to the States, and I was back in the States a couple of years before, actually, I was back in the States when 9/11 happened. And I kind of looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to get a phone call. Do you want to be here, or do you want to be back in Korea? Because I knew I was going to be doing a lot of coaching and a lot of trying to help things work in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And so I was in and out of Iraq and in and out of Afghanistan, starting about a year after we went into Iraq as a civilian contractor. My job was to coach. My job was to teach. My job was to encourage. And I loved my job. I live for that. That's what really gets me going in the morning. And that's one of the reasons why in the morning you'll see, I'll put a motivational piece on the Partner Driven page, because that comes from the heart. That's the journey that we're all making, is that journey of falling forward. And that journey of falling forward means you're going to fall, and that's okay. Fall forward and fall into your teammates and fall into the people who are going to say, that's okay. Come on. We've been there. Come on, let's get up. Come on. Let's keep going. Hey, what are you doing? Come on. And you've got that kind of synergy, I guess I would say, that kind of like a thing, like, where we actually are excited about the people who just keep moving along, who just keep trying. We're excited about that. That excites us. We keep trying to keep each other moving, and gives me goosebumps to think about, because that's what keeps us going. So I did that. In between times, I would work on some real estate stuff from Korea, because I was attached to the 8th Army. I went down and did some coaching and some work with the slave interdiction groups down in the Philippines. I worked with slave interdiction and trying to do rehab, the society after the big Christmas Day tsunami in Thailand. And then we moved to China, because I took a leadership role in an educational institution there where I was coaching. I set up some athletic programs, and I also set up some coaching programs and in China. And then we came over for a 4-day trip, and American Airlines decided it was going to be a little bit longer. So we stayed, and I started looking at the real estate here, and I started making some connections, and then I saw Partner Driven, and I got to tell you, in 5-6 months or whatever, it's been a really amazing trip, because I need that encouragement, and I don't know, if you're like me, it's like, okay, you can buy all the books you want. You can have all the tapes you want. You can listen to all these, rah-rahs all you want. But when the lights go off, when the big top comes down, when the people take off their clown face, and you're left with what? Well, and I think that's the difference. And I'm not trying to diss any, I'm not trying to say clowns, I'm just trying to say that if you want a team, if you want a group, if you want a family that really is partner committed, partner driven, man, you need to be on those calls every morning. You need to be getting on that Facebook page. You need to be getting on there and saying, hey guys, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Anybody else here? Yeah, actually I can name 3 partners who are in Dallas, Texas. So a lot of it is the connection and the connectivity and the just like getting to know each other. I think the synergy and that energy behind what we're doing is just phenomenal, and it really propels people forward.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. And I will say, and if y'all notice, a lot of people put this in the chat, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you both gentlemen for your service. We all wouldn't be here today without, ladies and gentlemen like you guys. So thank you very, very much. And, it's so good, to hear, what your opinions are of people that are in our program. And I know we're talking a lot about people that are already in, but in our world, meaning us 3 and our staff, that's the world that we're in every day. I mean, we focus 100% of our day with helping partners, right? Just like you guys or anybody here that's looking to do it. But I do have one question that I would like to ask, and I'll go back to you, Barry. I mean, let's say there's people out here today that are sitting out here thinking, I don't know if real estate's right for me, but I've decided that it is right for me, but I'm brand new. I've never done a deal before. I don't know where to start. What's like the biggest piece of advice that you, Barry, would give somebody that's in those shoes? Because I've been there. Both of you guys have been there, right? So it's you are looking back on the past, but like, what's this like one thing that you're like, man, I really wished I'd have known that, and I could have been more successful from the beginning? What would that be for you, Barry?
That's a great question, Julie. And I think for me, and this is what I always tell even the new partners who say the same thing on the onboarding call or when I got a one-on-one with them, is I said, first, take a deep breath. Okay. Take a deep breath. And then you just take one step at a time, meaning whatever it is that you have fear of, don't allow that fear to stop you from progressing or going for your dreams. Okay. There's always going to be a situation where, bills are due, or, somebody's causing you stress, or there's always life situations coming up. But if this is something you truly want to do, then take the first step. And the first step is to actually being with people who actually are like-minded, who understand where you were and where you want to go. So I always tell them, just take a deep breath, right? And then let's take one step at a time. What is it that what you want to do? What gives you the most anxiety? Is it picking up the phone and making a call? Is it not knowing what to say? Because it really doesn't matter. You have to take the action, and we're here to help you on your way. We're not going to let you just fall flat on your face. We're going to be there to help you, get it up, but you have to be able to take that first step. And once you take that first step, you'll feel much, much better. So that's what I usually tell everybody.
Yeah. Can I chime in on that? Honestly,
Sure,
man.
yeah.
And I keep going back to this idea that every day we have live calls. And there are some days that, we just get on those live calls and we're just like going, hey, talk to me. What's going on? Tell me how your day's going. One of the things that's great about Barry's calls, he said, hey, this is some motivational stuff I just want to throw out there to you. Tell me what you think. For me, I get the Monday morning. So I'm like, hey, tell me something great that happened over the weekend. Man, I was so excited. I was so pumped. So this Monday, Mitch had his first deal. He said, man, I got my contract signed. He said, but it's even better. He said, Ivan, our realtor guy who works with a lot of the partners in Atlanta, he said, man, we got it. We got it, man. We got offers are pouring in. So, and that was so exciting because, I talked to Mitch off and on, and it was kind of like, well, I don't know, I don't know. Hey, fall forward, guys. Fall forward. We're there to catch it, and you just keep moving to the finish line. And that's what it is, man. I didn't know if you wanted to ask me that question too, Julie, but I just,
you got it.
God, Barry, I love what you said. And it really is about that idea that anybody can say anything at any time on those calls. And that's okay, because we're a team, we're a family, and we're getting it, so.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Absolutely. No. I'll tell you too, because I was going to ask y'all questions, but then you got me all excited about answering too. For me, it's a lot of information to start. No matter if you're working with partner driven or if you go at this alone, it could be really overwhelming and lots of information to learn. Okay. Mm-hmm. The thing that I see that people make the biggest mistake when they get started and they end up quitting before they ever get their first deal done is because they suffer from paralysis of analysis. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I say paralysis, I mean, literally, you do not move forward because you're so consumed with what you don't know, right? Here at Partner Driven, we are here to help you along the way. From the day you start with us, we want you to start taking action. Just like Bob, just like Barry said, okay, take a little bite at a time, right? A little bite at a time. Eventually, the cookie's going to be completely ate, right? But you can only choose so much at a time. So I encourage you, if you're looking to get in this business, do not suffer from paralysis of analysis. You don't have to learn everything before you start doing deals. Let me tell you something, and I tell this to people all the time. You learn the most, not from trainings. As much as I would love to tell you our trainings are awesome, by the way. Yeah. Does anybody want to know where you learn the most?
Doing.
We know it. Yeah.
Yes. Going to appointments, getting deals done, right? That's exactly what's going to get you, to that next stage, right? So it's looking at it day by day by day and saying, okay, today I'm going to spend blank amount of time working on my business, right? Or finding leads to call. These are all things that we teach you, that we work with you in the program, right? And I know someone said, You know, a lot of it's, you know, it could be all talk. It's not all talk. We take action.
Yeah.
I do deals myself.
Yep.
We do the same things that we talk to you guys about doing. Let me tell you, if you know how to do deals, you never stop doing deals, right? I mean, you don't, because I mean, I have a serious passion for it. I closed up a deal with a seller right before I got on this webinar tonight on 2 properties. So this is, you know.
Let me just, can I just throw something in there too? I mean, I just want to give you an analogy. So, you know, and Barry can identify with this, you know, in the military, there's a day when you go to the obstacle course. And for some of us, there are several days that you go to the obstacle course. And so, you know, the first time you go to the obstacle course and you're seeing some of these obstacles out there, and, you know, I never will forget, the guy was behind me, scared of heights, and he looked up and he said, "This has an extremely high suck factor," you know? And so, so there was this moment where you go, this is probably not going to end well. I said, man, this is going to be okay. But here's the science behind this. Okay. We had about 2 lines of guys that, you know, everybody was starting, right? And you go. And so you've got guys behind you, you got guys in front of you. It's the exact same thing with partner driven. And as you come to a hurdle, here's the difference. You come to a hurdle with a book. Well, you better hope it's a really tall book so you can try and jump over the hurdle, because at the end of the day, the book is not going to get you over the hurdle. Your partners will. The guy behind you will. The guy in front of you will. The person on the call with you will. Your coach will. But that book is not going to get you over that hurdle at the end of the day. And so I think that the psychology, the mentality as a trainer, as a coach, as a teacher, that's what gets you over the hurdle. You know, there are days, and I mean, man, I've been on calls with people who they said, man, I just think I want to give up. Mitch was at this, I think I want to give up this. I said, whoa, wait a minute. What hurdle are you at? We will get you over that hurdle. We will move you over that hurdle. But again, it's a partnership. And I just want to interject that, because I think that if you see the psychology of it, it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was real key. I don't know why we're talking about Mitch, because I think all of us have talked to Mitch, and that deal that he got, that's the one in Peachtree City. I remember talking to him on a Friday night, and like, okay, let's go through this. All right, so the numbers are there. Look, I may even have a buyer who may want to do this. Let's go ahead and do it. So he took that step and he kept going, which is what we do. You know, that's exactly what we do. And even the analogy that you use, it just reminded me the first time that I had to jump out of an airplane. Yeah. Right. When I was in jump school, you know, you got everybody, front of you and behind you. You ain't got no choice. You got to go, because out. So, that's exactly, you know, Bob hit the nail on the head. Julie, we're here to help you guys. We do these things. Even, you know, even me right now, I am actually working on a deal with somebody else out here in California. But we have to, you know, it's not that we have to do what we do. We love what we do. Yeah. Right. We want to make sure that each and every person who is a partner of ours, we want them to be successful. And it's a passion that we have within ourselves, you know, and it's just, I mean, to me, I've been through a lot of programs, you know, and like Bob said, we're not bashing anybody, because that's not what we do. But out of the many ones that I've done, the amount of money I spent, this one by far is the best that I can. And even if I wasn't a coach, I would still say it, because when we came on, I came on as a partner, and I knew that, hey, this was not like any other program out there. We actually, you know, people actually on our staff do deals. We're actually real estate investors, but we're also actually people who can help you motivate yourself and put you up and get you into a situation where that little hurdle that you thought was a big hurdle is actually really a little one. You just needed to boost it up. And that's what we do. And we're there. And we're happy. When you get that deal, man, we're celebrating. Yep. We're definitely celebrating. Yeah, so absolutely. For all the 102 people who are on this call, we want you to be partners with us if you're not already. Okay?
Yeah, and if you are, guys, now's the time. If you are a partner and you're not doing deals, now's the time to recharge, re-engage, and let's get this done. Because it's a great time to be in real estate right now. We're talking about all these people doing deals. It could be you too. And let me tell you, there's no cap to what we can do here with you. So if you're on and maybe you're not, you know, and you're not as engaged as you would like to be, hey, that's okay. Let's start over. Let's just start over today. Let's go there, and let's recharge and recommit, because you deserve it. But also think about the reasons why you want to do this. Okay, I want you to ask yourself, anybody on this call, why do you possibly want to be a real estate investor? I can give you reasons why I wanted to. you know a little bit, when I got started in this business, hopefully I wasn't like a lot of you, because I'd hate for anybody to be in that situation. But when I got started in this business, I had no other choice but to be successful, honestly, because I didn't have any money. I literally lost everything I owned. And I was living in the back of my dad's mechanic shop with my 10-year-old daughter. I mean, and then I would send her down to my mom and dad's house at night to sleep. I mean, do you know how it felt every night to watch her walk down there? And for me as a single mom, not to be able to take care of her? And I'll never forget the day that I made the decision to not be in that position anymore. Literally, my knees hit the ground and I said, I'm worthy of more than this, and my daughter's worthy of more than this. I'm going to do this for my family. I am going to make it, and there are going to be no excuses. And for an entire year, I lived in the back of that mechanic shop, even though I had the money to leave, because I started doing deals immediately. Because what I did, and actually Peter was my coach, I was very coachable. Even if I didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing, I did what I was told, okay? And I gave it 110%. And all I can say is now, this is only, guys, this was like 8 years ago. In the scheme of things, that wasn't that long ago. And I'm telling you this story because I want to encourage you. I can tell you now that I'm way far away from living in the back of a mechanic shop, by far. I own, quite a few properties. Like I said, I've done tons and tons of deals. But the reason why I was successful was because I took action every day, and I woke up every day broke, and I still do. Every morning when I wake up broke. I do that because if I act like I wake up when I'm broke and every day I'm making money to survive, I'm always going to be successful, right? So that's, my encouragement for you is it doesn't really matter where you are, whether you join our program or not, whether you learn on your own. Of course, we want you to be with us here at Partner Driven, because to me, it's like the best thing since sliced bread, right?
Right.
But either way, you deserve this for yourself. You deserve this for your family and whatever path that you're going to take. But don't ever sit back and wish you coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I totally, first of all, you're an awesome, amazing person, Julie. And I want to say that, and that you know what, that really touched me. Let me just, if I can just chime in with that. The first real estate that I ever bought was an absolute failure. I lost about $25,000, and yeah, never go with somebody who hasn't been an absolute failure. Never follow somebody who hasn't at least once in their life been an absolute failure. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm just saying that. And let me just, if I can just chime in right quick, there's just 3 things that I want to cover with you. And I love the fact that you touched on why, because that's one of the things that Barry brings out. That's one of the things Julie brings out. That's one of the things I bring out. What's your why? What's your why? Because you're going to have bad days.
Mhm.
Get over it. You're going to have bad days. Know that why. Come back to that why. What is that why? You've got some goals out there. I get that. That's great. Those are important. Those goals, you keep those goals posted, you keep your why posted, but here's the train that's going to get you there, your habits. I saw somebody, and I can't really see it too well because I can't, I'm trying to wear my glasses and I'm trying not to. But at the end of the day, somebody wrote about the book, Start With Why. I'll give you another great book, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits by James Clear. James Clear, something like that. It starts with a C. I know that much. There's another great book called My 66-Day Habit Challenge. My 66-Day Habit Challenge. It's a really thin book, but it's a habit tracker. Guys, your habits are the train that's going to take you to your goals. And that's what we work on. That's why we work on, that's why we have those daily calls. Hey, how are you doing on those habits, Manny? Are you going out there driving for dollars? Are you on the phone? Who's having some challenges with the phones? Who's having some challenges? And we go over what challenges you're having and we talk about that, because we're not here to sell a book. There's not a bookstore as part of Partner Driven. We don't have that. We're not here to it's about trying to get you across the finish line. It's about trying to get you to read your why, read your goals, and get on that habit train and say, okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Right. And so I just wanted to kind of echo that because, I would much rather follow someone who at least once in their life had been a failure than to follow somebody who had never gone down that road, who had never really hit the wall. And we're here to get you over that wall. That's what we do. So,
yeah, too, and now that you say that, Bob, your failures don't define you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. God gave us the opportunity to wake up every day and make choices. So, I do have a question for you, Barry.
Yes,
and then I'm going to ask the same thing to you, Bob. Barry, what is your what's your favorite thing? If you said one favorite thing about being a master coach at Partner Driven.
The opportunity to impart positive thoughts and messages to people who haven't really gotten that positive outlook placed in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to take the things that I learned, take the things that you taught me, that I see you do, what Peter does, what Bob does, and things that I do on a daily basis, and be able to impart it into people who truly want to be successful, but they don't have that support. Mm-hmm. And I know on the calls, I'm not going to try to go over this, but like on the Tuesday morning call, I dubbed that Tech Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday, I have this call, and I started doing positive affirmations and thoughts and things. So this morning I played a video.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the video basically talked about saying, hey, it just comes down to a decision. You just make the decision and then go. Don't worry about if the money's there. Don't worry about if you can't, say the right things. Just make a decision. I'm going to do this. And then take that step. And believe it or not, I got so many texts and emails off of that because people are like, this is what we really want. This is what we really need. We appreciate you doing that. And it's not to say, well, yeah, I just did a great job. No, it's because I really, truly care. So it gives me that opportunity to impart into people. That's what it really does. So, that's the best thing to me. Getting deals is great, but mm-hmm. making an impact on people's lives is much better for me.
Yeah, that's a blessing, Barry. Thank you so much. It's kind of funny when you say that, because people are like, well, I do have people in my life. Do you know, like, and by the way, I love my father to death. He was a military guy too, by the way. Love my father to death. When he saw where I was and knew what I was going to do back then, he told me not to do it. He literally is I respect that man more than I respect anybody in my life. I love my daddy, right? But had I listened, I wouldn't be where I am today. So not all the time are the closest people in your life the people that are going to have the best decisions for you, right?
Yep.
So just like you said, Barry, being able to be that encourager and help people out, I mean, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you're here, obviously. All right, Bob. So what would you say your favorite thing is?
Well, man, I love what Barry had to say. I really do, man. And Barry, you know, he lives it, he eats it, he breathes it. I mean, I like that support idea. I really do. I just say, I think that my favorite part is that part where, you know, you get to see the people that you've been coaching, you get to see those people, and you get to see them get that confidence to be able to go and to be able to move and to be able to see what that means in their lives, you know, to be able to see what that means to who they are and what they can do and what they want to do and what they want to see happen in this world. You know, and just to say, Saturday, I've got a meeting with a guy that wants to do the same kind of thing I want to do. And that is to put educational and educational and livability what they call livability programs, or things that'll teach people how to earn money. And he wants to put that together for the Philippines and for some other areas that and some training programs like that. And so for me, what this means is being able to do that, you know, being able to move forward with that. And I think that I see that so much in so many of our partners. Like, what does this mean to you? Well, you know, I was just talking to a partner who just got the first deal, and this means that that they don't have to get the welfare check.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that means a lot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because when you can walk into your kids with a little bit more dignity, and you can walk into your kids and you can say, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. I got this. And I got a team at my back. I got a team that's marching with me. I got a team that's going through this with me, and we're going to be okay. You know, if that doesn't excite you, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, and I get to wake up with that every day. So yeah, that gets me going.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's great. It's almost like, does everybody understand what an aha moment is?
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you're working with people for quite a while and it's like you see it. You finally get that aha moment, right? And also, Bob, thank you for being vulnerable. You know, we all really appreciate that. It's a very, very touching moment. But being able to have that, seeing people have that aha moment is beautiful. Or watching a deal go or their life go from here to a full circle, because inevitably people that become partners learn how to do this. They start doing it on their own and they leave the nest, right? And we're all okay with that. You know, we just want to be here, you know, to help you guys. We've got a full, let's see here. You know what? Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions. What questions do you guys have for Bob and Barry? Go ahead and put them in the chat now. Any comments, any questions? We'll answer them here live.
I see one comment in there about working a full-time job and they can't do it till after work. What I always tell people is this is, hey, if this is something you truly want, then you have to learn about time management. Okay. So let's say you work 5 days a week. Okay. On Saturday, make it your day that you go do your driving for dollars. You know, get your properties in the Deal Driven app. And then when you get back home, you go ahead and skip trace them. Right. Maybe Sunday, you take a look at it, you send out your direct mail, whether it be handwritten or, you know, through using the app. And then during the week, you can make phone calls. If you have a lunch period, you can make one or two calls during the week, right? And then you actually have to schedule your time. It doesn't mean that you have to take 8 hours and spend it all on the real estate. But if you take a little bit of your time every week and do certain things consistently, same things every day or every week, same stuff, it will start to actually add up and your pipeline will start to get big. You'll go on appointments and you'll get, talking to people and you'll get a contract. And next thing you know, it may take you a couple of months, but the next thing you know, your pipeline's full. You are consistently having 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts in the pipeline. And as we know, not all of them are going to close, right? But at least 2 of them will close if you have 5. That's consistently right there. That will get you off your job. That will get you to where you want to be. So that's pretty much what I tell people when they say they have to work. And when you start to, I hate to say this, making excuses for not doing something that you really want to do means you really don't want to do it. In my book, I mean, if you really want to do this, then nothing's really going to stop you from being able to do what you truly want to do inside. It doesn't matter, what's in front of you. If you really want to be a real estate investor, if you really want to be a person who owns a dry cleaning store, if you really want to be whatever it is you want to be, nothing can stop you. And everybody has the same amount of time in the day. It's just what you do with it. That's all. I don't know.
Well, no, that was a great answer, Barry. I'm going to go through a couple questions here. How do we get a deal if we're in another state? So I'd like to answer that one, Lomax. So number one, the quickest way to do your first deal is probably going to be close to you. Okay. However, if you were going to do a deal in another state, I would suggest that you wholesale that deal. Also, you need to have some boots on the ground in that area because really you're going to have someone go look at the property. You're going to have someone go do some running around. So I do virtual deals all the time, but it's not completely virtual because I have someone that goes and looks at those deals for me. So if you want to do a deal in another state, I suggest having some boots on the ground there. Maybe you know a realtor, maybe you know someone that could go take pictures, things like that. That's how I would do a deal in another state. Let's see here. Let me get through some more questions. What about earnest money? Do you need it? They want earnest money to secure the contract. I'll tell you my experience. I would say about 9 out of 10 deals that I put under contract, I do not put earnest money down. I never bring up objections that I don't need to have. However, we have no problem putting down earnest money for you at Partner Driven, as long as it's held at our local attorney, okay? So it would need to be specified on the contract, and actually Partner Driven puts down the earnest money for you, but we will not put non-refundable earnest money. It needs to be refundable during the inspection period, and it's got to be held at our local attorney in Atlanta. Also, for just a piece of advice, always control your own earnest money, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't give up earnest money anyway. Hold it at an escrow place like your title company or your attorney. It's just we happen to be an attorney state, right?
How you did say something. I'm sorry, you said something key. Don't give out more information than you need. So if they don't say anything about earnest money, you don't bring up nothing about earnest money. Okay? Because earnest money is not something that's a law. But it's just a courtesy that people, have been accustomed to. I just wanted to say that.
I got a question there. It says, Bob, how do you make the leap from being stagnant? Any tips? Appreciate your insight. I'm getting fully engaged. I really find, this is just my take on it, that no 2 days are alike. I don't think no 2 days are alike with the real estate and with what we're talking about. So I don't really have a problem with stagnation here. I've had a problem with stagnation in other types of professions, but here every day is changing and everything is changing and it's constantly changing. And that's one of the reasons why those daily training calls are so important, so vitally important, is because we get on those calls and somebody says, hey, did you know about this? Did you see this? Did you see that? You know, and I mean, I'll give you a classic example. The pre-foreclosure market is beginning to really take off and beginning to pick up some steam. So somebody I think it was Haskell was on there, and Haskell said, yeah, but I just found out that in my area, they actually figured out how to do virtual pre-foreclosures. So what that means is the houses that were supposed to be foreclosed upon in that particular area were done virtually. In my area, I'm still dealing with houses that were supposed to be under foreclosure in like March or April. So again, it's constantly changing and we're constantly learning and we're constantly growing. You know, it's really, I don't know that there's a way to be stagnant in this business. Julie, you've been at it a lot longer than any of us, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can be stagnant. Can you in this?
I mean, you definitely can, but I would say that's more about losing a little bit of motivation, right?
Okay.
Got
you.
But, you know, for me, I just, you know, I'm personally not a person that just wakes up super motivated every day. You know, I tell you something crazy that I do is in the mornings when I'm getting ready, and ladies, you know about this, you're putting your makeup on, well, you guys too, you know, fixing your hair, brushing your teeth and all of that. I like to listen to like YouTube videos in the morning because it always like catches my attitude back right again. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just listen to, and you know how you type something in YouTube about motivation? Next thing you know, you're like 30 videos in from people you've never seen before. Because I love the Tony Robbins and all these guys, but sometimes it's like these smaller people I've never even heard of that they give me the biggest impact. The next thing that I do is every morning when I hear one of these videos, I always take one thing out of that video and write it down in my notes in my phone. So it's just like sometimes I hear one key phrase and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write that one down. And then I'm always kind of constantly thinking about it. So maybe silly, but that's what I like to do in the morning. It doesn't really take any time out of my life to do that. Also, I stopped listening to morning radio. I loved listening to the drama on morning radio, and I realized it was bringing me down a little bit. So I got Audible in my truck and I listen to a book now when I drive, right?
Yeah.
So that's, you know, on something I want to learn new, I'm just going to listen to a book. There's another good book too I just read called Alter Ego, which is really, which is an awesome book, right? Now, let me see here. How do you find out if your state where pre-foreclosures stand?
Where they stand,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the statuses of them. Well, basically, you're going to have to know whether or not your county offices are back operating. And if they are back operating, then you can always call them and ask them, where are the auctions going on? Where you guys at in your list of pre-foreclosures? Because a lot of places, like Bob said, like Julie said, due to COVID, they stopped it. Okay. They stopped it at the end of February. So March, April, May, June. And in some states, they tried to start picking it back up. I know in New York, where Haskell is, they do virtual ones now. So it just depends on your county. That's why you always have to be aware of what's going on in your neck of the woods. Okay. And if you don't know how to, just pick up the phone or go on your county website, see if they're open for business, and then make a phone call. It's pretty much it.
And that's, let me just say too, that I think that that's one of the powerhouse strengths of the partner driven program. So Friday evening, I went to Raleigh. It's about, I don't know, Raleigh, maybe an hour and a half from where I'm at, something like that. Well, I mean, by the time you count traffic and trying to find a parking space and my dog wanting to drive, it was about that long. So at any rate, though, so I went up there and I met two partners, Allison and Mariana, and we met. We sat down over a milkshake and we talked about how we can collaborate, about what's going on in the market, about different neighborhoods, about deals that we can work on together. That all happened not because I'm a coach. That all happened because we're on the same training calls and we're listening and we're paying attention to where people live. So a lot of the synergy that works there. It really does. I don't think I've been on a training call yet where somebody didn't say, "Oh, are you in wherever?" And they go, "Yeah." "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm just down the road from you," and they connect. So that really worked. That's a big plus. It really is.
Yeah, I've done that too. In our local area, I've helped people with our Deal Driven app, that just really couldn't get it. So I, meet them at Starbucks or whatever, and we would go through it. That's how committed we are to everybody's success. Okay. We want you guys to be successful. Now that doesn't mean you call us up at 3:00 in the morning because that ain't happening, buddy. But be reasonable. We will go out of our way most of the time to try to help you guys to do whatever we can to make, your investing career successful. Whatever we got, we're going to give it to you. Right. And all we ask in return is that you just actually take a step forward, take action, take that step, walk through that door, and that's all we really want from you is to do that. And we got you the rest of the way.
Yeah. And I'd like to answer a question. If Deal Driven is because it's a non-disclosure state, if you're having a hard time coming up with comps, how do you come up with comps? So for me, for those of you that asked that, when I'm going to an appointment, okay, or I'm up initially analyzing a deal, I'm not going to necessarily get a realtor involved, okay? Even though I use Deal Driven is obviously amazing. I love Deal Driven. I own part of it, right? But I always look at Deal Driven. I look at Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia. Look at all of those and see what they average out for you in maybe a non-disclosure state so that kind of what the ballpark numbers are. Then I would get, and I do this still. I know how to pull comps. I always get a realtor to give me opinion of an as-is comps and an ARV. The other reason why I would be looking at those auxiliary sites is because who do you think else is looking at those? The seller.
The seller.
You want to know exactly what they're seeing. Like, I kid you not. I was talking to this guy tonight about this property, and he wanted $369,554 for his property. That's literally what he told me over the phone. I go to Zillow, and guess how much Zillow said his property's worth?
369.
Yes. So it's you got to know the comps, but you got to also know what your sellers are seeing too. Okay, because in their opinion, the Zillows, the Trulias, the realtors, that's the value of their house. And honestly, those sites could be wrong because the tax records could be wrong for that particular house, either too high or too low. So always know exactly, kind of what those numbers are. I hope that helped, but I'd be looking at all of those sites anyway.
Yeah. What else we got? Yeah.
But I do want to go ahead and put this back up in the box. I'm going to ask you guys could be on. Did y'all enjoy seeing us this evening? Because I know we sure enjoyed being here.
Right. If you guys enjoyed us, throw a 100 in the chat for us. No, yes. Put a 1,000. Put a 1,000 in the chat. If you really enjoyed it, put a 1,000 in the chat. That's what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Someone said I missed their question. I don't know. I'm sorry.
To answer my question.
What, Donna,
uh,
what's your question, hon? I'm sorry, I missed it in the chat.
yeah.
If you'll just like type it out again for me, maybe? Or let me see if I can go find it, Donna. And by the way, guys, I mean, like we've been talking about all night, we want you to be a partner, okay? So if you would like to learn more about becoming one of our partners, actually, I think you should call somebody tonight. And if you would like to talk to her, one of the people that works with us her name is Miss Anika. Anika, do you mind me giving your number out? Let's see here. How to find good deals before all these deep pocket cash buyers. It's too many investors. Well, you know, Donna, in this business, there's always going to be a significant amount of competition. Okay. But there's lots and lots and lots of opportunities out there. This is not a business of competition. It's a business of abundance. Okay. Sometimes you need to do things that others aren't willing to do. I don't go to the market like some big time investor anyway. I go to my marketplace more so like I'm Julie from down the road that just so happens to buy properties. So a lot of times sellers will go with me instead of other companies, even if I offer less, because they trust me. Okay. And they trust me because, you know, I'm going to do the right thing by somebody because my word and my reputation means a lot to me. So I know there's, you know, a lot of deep pocket cash buyers out there. There's a lot of investors out there, but man, there is plenty of opportunity for everybody. I don't care what marketplace you're in. I mean, I do a lot in the Atlanta market, and Atlanta is a pretty competitive market, right?
There's a ton of wholesalers and real estate investors in Atlanta. But one thing that she did, I want to piggyback on. One of the things that, you know, on our training and what Julie really talks about is being yourself. You know, the quickest way to scare off a buyer is to come at them as a big time investor. As soon as you say, I'm a real estate investor, that wall goes up. It may be invisible, but it goes up in the back of their mind. But if you're just like, you know, hey, I'm Barry, you know, I'm from down the road or whatever, it puts them at a little bit of ease. And then when you start the conversation and you're talking to them, it makes it a lot better. They will remember you more so than that person who says I'm an investor. Okay, so it's true. It is very true what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just, so there's a question here. What do you offer for your partners? I'd like to kind of throw that out there. That was by Philomena. I hope I said that right. So I mean, I think, you know, we've been talking about a lot of that, but let me just try to say that what we offer for our partners is an opportunity to change your life. What we offer for our partners is an opportunity to be part of a team that's accomplishing things, not selling a book, you know, not just selling some training package. We actually have a team that is helping you get across the finish line. So I think that what we offer our partners is a family that is working together towards the goals that you want to meet if your goal is to be successful in real estate. So I don't know, is that, I mean, I guess that's kind of the condensed version. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you answered it. And then also, because you're a partner, we have other partners who have vast experience. So when you get on those calls,
Oh yeah.
you know, you get people who have done stuff and they impart into each other. And that's what's really incredible about this as well. You know, you have people who've done stuff before who have knowledge and they're able to impart it as well because of the partnership. So you got everything. You got the family, you got the extended family,
Yeah.
and then you got the extended family. So you got everybody there, like-minded people trying to do the same thing you want to do. All you got to do is just say, I'm willing to do this. I'm going to take this chance and I'm going to go for it. And that's it.
Absolutely. Well, I would like to say, guys, I mean, I know, you know, for those of you that want to learn more, about our program, or you want to talk to somebody with our company, I really hope these ladies do not mind, okay? But call any three of these ladies, Miss Nancy, Miss Erica, or Miss Anika. You can call them right now if you have any questions about pricing. And let me tell you something about pricing. It's less than a down payment you would put on a house that you're going to purchase with a hard money loan. I can tell you that. And by the way, so we're going to provide all the training, be able to, you know, if you find, when you find a deal, we actually fund the deal and split profits with you 50-50. We fund everything. We literally put our money where our mouth is. And also, we're going to be there 100% to coach you. You get to talk to Barry, Bob, myself. But it's getting late for us tonight. We've been helping people all day, and I'm kind of hungry, so I'm going to let everybody go for this evening, right? So again, I'm going to put it in the chat. You can go to partnerdriven.com, or you can give one of these three ladies, Miss Nancy, Miss Erica, or Miss Anika, a phone call right now, and to go over any questions that you have. Miss Erica said she's here to help too. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody has an awesome evening. Thank you so much. Dream big, make it happen. And if you have the money, always try to support your local small businesses. They really need it right now. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Have a blessed evening.
All right, guys.
We'll see
Have
you
a
then.
good one. See you.